Fleming.
Hey.
You fucking mad dog.
Hi, dude. What's
Welcome
up?
to the podcast. Episode number 5. Going after it
Cinco.
with Michael Fleming.
Thank you for having me, man. I'm very excited.
Very, very welcome. How are you, man?
I'm good. I'm tired. I smoked earlier this morning, and the residuals are hitting, but this coffee is lighting me up. It's so fucking sweet.
Do you smoke every day?
No. My girlfriend's watching? No, definitely don't. If my mom's watching? I definitely don't. If my dad's watching? Yeah, I do.
Is your dad a smoker?
Yeah, big time. Dude.
Nice. Did you ever smoke with him?
Yeah, all the time. Dude, the first time I ever smoked with him, it was Thanksgiving, and I got super high, and he got super high, and we just like kicked it, and then I got like we weren't very deep. We had just like fuck around humor, and I was like, my dad's 14 years older than my mom, and like I got super high with him, and I was like, be honest, man, like, isn't it weird that you were 20 when mom was 6? And he was like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? What are you doing? You know, it was funny, but it was, we haven't smoked since.
Never?
We'll smoke a couple times. Like, we won't get like ripped. He was taking bong rips.
Yeah, right.
But he also has like, he's been smoking cigarettes since he was like 12.
Wow.
So he's got like COPD. So this one time he took a bong rip and was like, coughing his lungs out, and then was like, dude, like recovered from the cough and was like, I gotta go smoke a cig. Like, you're ridiculous.
Jesus. Yeah. I've never done anything like that with my father.
Really? What's your dad like?
He's different. He's he's good. He's a good man.
Yeah.
He worked hard his whole life, supported the family. I'm one of 5 children.
Oh, really? I knew you were a triplet, but I didn't know you had 2 others.
Yeah, my older sisters are twins.
Whoa. Yeah. Wait, were they surrogates? Not surrogates, were they?
IVF.
IVF?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they were 2 years older than us. So 5 kids, 2 years apart. So they were busy. He had to work and provide for us, but he did a good job. But yeah, I've never had a smoke with him. I mean, he's never touched a drug in his life. He's never touched a cigarette. He's like,
really
so straight.
Is he Christian? Like, is he a religious guy?
No. He's just a
pussy. No,
yeah. He's a pussy. You're hearing that, Dad? You're a pussy. Smoke some weed, man. Get cool.
Kim's dad, you're probably cool as fuck. You're Australian. Yeah. You're way ahead of anybody here in America. You're cool.
But my mum used to smoke weed back in the day.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
my mom definitely has. She's a small Asian woman.
Yeah. Asians can't take substances like white people can.
Well, they used to, and that's why their eyes look like that, because they're just permanently high. They're fucking ripped 24/7.
I wonder what happened genetically for like different people, different races to look the way they are. Like for Asians to have the eyes like that.
I try to write a bit about it, but it's like that's where weed was founded, was in China. And so I think that they got a hold of it and they were like, this shit's crazy. And they all smoked so much that like evolutionarily they were just like, fuck. Yeah.
Jesus. Well, I mean, it makes sense why different countries and different races are dark. Like Africans, for example, are black because it's just fucking hot climate.
Yeah, if you were white, you would
literally die.
Everyone would die of cancer.
That's why Australia has the highest skin cancer rate in the world.
Really? Because you guys were in a spot where you should be dark.
Yeah, well, our indigenous are black. They're like black, like not African black, but pretty damn close.
Damn.
Pretty damn close. And then so my state in particular where I live has the highest melanoma rate in the world.
No way. Because you guys are just all outside. The weather's nice.
We grew up in the beaches, man. Grew up in the beaches and the parks, and we're very outdoor culture. That's why we all age as well. Like Australian men, like tradesmen in particular, like can start looking pretty rough by the time they hit 50.
Because you're outside all day long. It's like Steve Irwin. Steve Irwin, when he died, he was like in his 40s. Dude looked like late 50s. He was like weathered.
Yeah. You know, he was an incredible surfer.
Really? I believe it. You guys are so fucking cool, dude. Oh, I wrestle alligators and crocodiles, and then I also surf. It's so cool.
Ryan, you would have been a Steve Irwin man, wouldn't you?
Big time.
Yeah.
Big time. Big crocodile hunter fan.
Yeah. He was a maniac. But I often think, like, what was it all for? Like, he would just, It was for show. Like he would pull a croc out of the water. They'd all like 10 of them would jump on and be like, "Yeah, we got him. All right, now let's let him go."
It was for Animal Planet.
Yeah.
He's like, we're gonna wrestle this and fuck with it, but then we're gonna let it go, so it's cool.
Yeah, he loved animals.
Yeah,
He just loved fucking with them.
The way I've never heard someone, I've listened to how he describes things. He's so captivating. He's like, look at this, look how beautiful the kangaroo's teeth are. And just like the specific, and he's just like the way he describes stuff was next level. And I think that's why he was famous.
There's this beautiful clip of him where he's like, someone asked him, they're like, "Do you like money?" He's like, "Yeah, I love money. Whenever I get money, I put it into conservation. I buy this land and I can't get enough of it." And it's like,
Yeah. Shit, yeah.
Dude, he was like the Trump of Australia.
Hell
He
yeah.
fired everyone up.
he's kind of the one guy that shouldn't have never died.
No, man, it was so tragic that happened. But it was gonna happen. You keep fucking with animals long enough that something's gonna happen, you know?
Yeah. And apparently he got the stingray barb in his heart.
Yeah.
And apparently if he hadn't have pulled it out, he would have survived, I heard. Whether or not that's true or not, but
I heard that too, though.
Yeah.
Really? That's because like when he pulls it out, it just bleeds out.
Yeah. That's sad.
That is sad.
And his wife, she's American.
Oh, she is?
Yeah. What's
Oh.
her name?
I remember the kid's name. I have to look
Yeah, there's
with her.
Bindi and Robert, I think.
Yeah,
But then-
and they're still going at it.
Yeah,
They still have shows and they're still doing the conservation. So that's really cool.
Yeah,
that is cool.
The son, he's exactly like his father. He is like
He loves animals too.
spitting image. He even talks like, "Oh, crikey, I found a bloody rattlesnake." Yeah, wild.
When your dad's the goat. Of
Terry.
that. Terry's the wife, yes.
Terry Irwin.
Does she spell it Terri?
Terri.
Close.
Yeah,
One-
got there.
One
got-
consonant off.
You were getting there. Yeah, he was very popular. I think he definitely like the Crocodile Dundee. They sort of put Australia on the map. Those guys, didn't they? In kind of a weird way.
Yeah, that's what everyone was known for. We thought you guys just like rode kangaroos and wrestled shit. And seriously though, that's like, and then that happened, and then there was a show about like surfers. I mean, almost like Baywatch, but they were like lifeguards on those beaches, the Bondi Beach.
Bondi. Yeah.
Bondi?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I watched a video of this one kid getting stung by those box jellyfish. I don't want to ever experience that. That is the one thing. That's why I'm not going to Australia. I'm sorry.
No, that's fair. Everyone's scared of our wildlife, but it's not scary.
It isn't.
Everyone's scared of spiders, but the big spiders that we have, they don't even hurt you. Like the ones that go in your house that you see them all the time, they're huntsmen. They're good to have in your house because they eat all the moths and they eat the bugs. So you just leave them.
Yeah. Thank you. You thank them.
Yeah. Thank you for your service.
Thank you, sir.
Just don't crawl on me when I sleep.
No, that's because you guys. You guys are an island. You know, the stuff that was there. You know, thousands and thousands of years ago, are still there. Like they don't escape. You guys have shit that nowhere else in the world has.
Man, we used to have the Tasmanian tiger. That was a cool.
What is that?
So it was actually a marsupial. It was in the marsupial family. So like a kangaroo was a marsupial,
Right.
And it was the only marsupial to have a pouch to cover his balls.
Awesome.
So he had literally a pouch like a
sheet.
kangaroo for his nutsack.
That's awesome.
How cool is that?
That's pretty cool.
Talk about evolution.
Yeah.
What's the evolutionary, like, why did that happen? Why do you think that went that? Do you think they were just getting their nuts, like, just hit a bunch and they were
I
like,
don't know. But their tails were like very strong, like a kangaroo tail. Like it was muscular. And I think they could like kangaroos can fully rest their weight on their tail. And then they can kick.
Yeah.
So they're wild.
I watched a video of it was something like a coyote or something chasing after a baby kangaroo.
Yeah, right.
Those things are so fast.
Yeah.
They just go. And
Incredible. You can't keep them in. I mean, I wondered why they don't have zoos here or like they don't have them here, but you can't really fence them in. Like you would have to have very high fences to keep a kangaroo in. So, do they not have kangaroos in America? Like, do they not have kangaroo farms anywhere?
No. They'll have them at zoos.
Just zoos, I feel like.
Okay. Have you guys seen them in zoos?
I have. I
like
think
I
at the
have.
DC Zoo they had a few.
That's so cruel to have a kangaroo in a zoo.
But that's how we feel about deer.
True.
You know, like there are places that have just deer in cages, and we're like, oh, they're supposed to be outside.
Any animal I think is in a cage is bad. Like when I see those signs that people post up when they've lost their bird and they pin them to posts, I'm like, Yes. It's free.
Lost, but yeah.
A bird in a cage, man.
Dude, in back home we have a thing called Safari Park. So you just drive your car through this like sanctuary, and then the animals come up to your car and eat from your bucket. Like you have a food bucket. Dude, I try to feed the zebras. Zebras are like dangerous. They'll eat your fucking hand off.
Jesus.
But they had emus, they had ostriches, they had zebras, they had giraffes.
I think, is an emu the fastest
Bird
bird in the world?
Yeah,
Or the ostrich?
They're quick.
They're fucking fast. They ride them out west at home. They have like emu like races.
Let's break that down.
Literally.
Wait, what?
Yeah, they'd have like races where people like jump on the emus and they fucking go.
No way.
Yeah.
So you race.
The emu is your horse.
Then there's saddles.
I think they just they go bareback.
Dude, that's the coolest thing ever. That's so fucking cool.
I feel like I saw that in the movie once. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, be like, that's so fake, dude. I can't believe they.
It might have been the Prince of Persia movie where they had like the emu riding, and I was like, is that real? It turns out it is.
It's real.
That's so cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
But we have what do we have? We have bull riding. Do you guys bull ride?
Yeah, there's bull ringing at home. I would never do that. I was actually watching a reel about these two guys that were in a pen with a bull, but they were on these ginormous seesaws, and the bull was just running around, and this guy would kick up, and then he'd run around to that guy, and he'd kick up, and I'm like, I would never do that. Like and also the running with the bulls in
in Spain.
In Spain,
No way.
That
Dude, like on average, 2 to 3 people die, and everyone's like, let's do that. They wake up, dude. It's like a festival.
Dude, I've jumped out of a plane. Like I've ridden some big waves. Like I've done some fucking wild shit.
Where are you
I
from?
would never, ever put myself in line with a bull.
No.
Never. Ryan, would you?
No. It's like the stupidest thing anyone could do. And it's not even like, a lot of people, like, when you watch the Running with the Bulls, a lot of them are like standing there and they're like kind of like goading it, and then they all run in the same direction, so they're knocking each other over.
Yeah.
So like they're just asking to be trampled to death.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they do in the arena. That's I might be just talking out of my ass, but Lamborghini does that. They name the cars after bulls that either killed their. Hey,
No.
Yeah, I think so. I might
wild.
fact check me on that, because if that's true, that's cool.
Yeah.
I don't even want to fact check. I just want to say, no, that happened.
Yeah, that happened. That's real. We're just gonna go with that. Nice, man.
So where are you from?
I'm from Virginia. I'm from rural Virginia. It's like I'm right on the border of West Virginia. Best way I can describe where I'm from is people wear camo in public. People wear camo in public, and there's a show called Moonshiners.
I've seen that.
Yeah, I'm 45 minutes from that. So like a lot of hillbillies. It's like dude, it's the best town.
Were you on a farm, or you like in the town?
I was in the town, but I had family. Like my dad's family lives in a town of like maybe 2,000 people, like 1,000 people. Everyone knows each other. It's like just small, like rural America.
Yeah.
I loved it. It was the best place to be raised, because I wasn't exposed to like shit like this, but it gives me such a good perspective of like, oh, I'm so ignorant to all these. Like, dude, when I first moved here, I had a bit about how like everything in New York is so nice that where I like didn't even. So like I was on. This is just true. I was on the train, and one of those ladies was handing out candy, and I was like sitting. I was like, they have onboard snack service. Like the city offers fucking snack service, and then I saw the kid with her on her back look like fucking Yoda, and I was like, oh, this seems pretty off the books. This doesn't seem government funded. Yeah.
No, it is government funded.
Yeah, they work with the government. But yeah, dude. So that's where I'm from, and I like miss it. It's cool. I went back home for the first time since being in New York doing stand up, and like I went home, and it just felt so slow. Like I got a haircut, I went and got lunch, and I met up with my friend and it was like an hour, and I was like, I have my whole day, man. Because like here, you're on your train for like 45 minutes everywhere you go. And
yeah, you spend a bit of time traveling here and walking, but it's great. I actually think like New York, I went out to Niagara Falls, and everyone out there was so fat. Like it's like the
Really?
Midwest of America. It was like there's a lot of obesity that I've noticed out there. I don't know what it's like in Virginia, but
huge.
Here, like everyone's quite fit in New York, and I think it's just because people walk around
Just
and
walking everywhere, man.
Yeah.
And like even like the olds people, This would be the worst city to live in if you were over the age of 60. Like, I see why people do it when they're young and then they get out, because it's taxing.
Yeah, then all the stairs to get down the subways. Yeah, I've seen quite a few old grannies like pushing their little walkers, and
It sucks, man. It's like, I don't know. That's why people move. Like, that's why I was glad I was raised there. It was very slow. I didn't have stress. It was nice. Like, and I miss that. But and I like New York.
When did you come to New York?
I moved here a year ago. So after Virginia, I right after college, I was doing stand up in DC for just a little bombing my dude. I would go up and do Pete Davidson jokes. I'd steal 5 minutes of Pete Davidson and go up and just do his set, bomb, but just to feel what it feels like to do stand up. After college, I was like, all right, COVID happened. I want to move to the beach. I want to go. Well, dude, I tried to join the Navy SEALs.
No.
I haven't ever told you that?
No.
Yeah, okay. Story time.
Yeah.
So yeah, during college, about my sophomore.
What were you studying in college?
Business marketing.
Okay.
So I business marketing with concentration in sales, so nothing. And my junior year, I was like, I wanted. A SEAL recruiter came, like a Navy recruiter came, and he went to the athletes and was like, do any of you guys want to do special forces? And I was like, I'd like to hear about it. Like, I'd like to. And he was like, it's not like the Marine, like, it's not like infantry where we're going after the worst people on earth. And I was like, that actually sounds pretty cool. That seems rewarding. I didn't know the ins and outs of it. And then I started working out like crazy, because you have to pass a physical test. You have to pass you have to do a 500-meter swim under 9 minutes. Then you get out of the pool. Then you have to do 100 push-ups in 2 minutes. Then you have 2-minute break. You have to do 100 sit-ups in 2 minutes. Then you have 2 minutes. And then you have to do 25 pull-ups. And then you have 2 minutes. And then you have to go run a mile and a half under 9 minutes. So you just have to be a physical you have to be like rock climber strong.
This is before you even get looked at.
Before you have to get past that to even have the opportunity to go out to Coronado where SEALs train.
Yeah.
If you pass that, then they're like, all right, you're good enough to get out there, but unless you blow those numbers out of the water, the percentage of you making it is like 10%.
Wow.
And out there, it's still like 18%. These guys, dude, I was going up against like 18-year-olds with beards and shit. And I was just like, I felt like I didn't hit puberty yet, still after college. And they were men. And I passed the test, dude. And
wow.
Yeah. And I finally got it. But then 2 weeks before I was supposed to ship out, I told my dad, I was like, I'm so sick of working out. I hate waking up and running fucking 5 miles in the morning and then in the afternoon running another 5. I'm going to fail. Like, if I don't have the mindset that I'm going to be a SEAL, you're going to fail. Hell Week will crush you. And I didn't go, dude. And then literally like a month later, I got a job in Charleston, South Carolina, teaching tennis. And I went down there and there was a comedy club. And the first day I got down there, I did an open mic. And I was like, all right, I think I'm going to do stand-up forever.
Wow.
And because it was dude, Charleston starting comedy there was amazing, because there was one comedy club. They had an open mic twice a week. And the crowds were like 30 actual people, like audience members. And so you go up and you could just be silly, talk some shit. And everyone was so comedy hungry that you're like, oh, dude, I can fucking do this. And dude, I just got obsessed with it. And it brought me back into it. And I was like, oh, I'm good. And then, good. That wasn't good. And
I know what you mean.
You know what I'm saying? And then, yeah, man. And then I got to, luckily enough, I got to do just a random ass opening for guys that were doing tours. And I did one. And then afterwards, this lady came up to me and was like, you know, you're going to be on Netflix, right? And I was like, shut up.
Wow.
Like, please stop talking to me. Like, don't say that to me. Don't. Dude, I went to my car. I cried. Dude, a guy came up to my window, knocked on the door and wanted to have a picture. And I was like, dude, I need to do stand up like forever. And then like 2 weeks later.
That was your baptism.
It was, man. I was like, all right, this is something. And then I moved to New York like 2 weeks later and to do it full time.
Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Dude, that's sick.
That's the life. Yeah, man.
And so for work at the moment, you're doing tennis coaching.
Yeah, I teach tennis.
You like that?
It's something. It pays the bills. It's it's nice because I just get to talk to people all day. But then also like you're dealing with some of the worst people on earth.
But what if
like you deal with the worst people on earth, like rich like people are so nice. But then you get like anything, you get that one person and you're stuck on court with them for 1 hour, and it's just hell on earth.
What about now? It's cold. Are you still?
I'm inside. They have a huge bubble above the tennis courts.
Okay.
It's nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's heated or?
Yeah.
Okay.
So in the summer they take it down. I do tennis and then they put up the bubble and then I teach inside.
So this is like tennis for the upper echelon of New York City.
It's not even like it is, but it's the prices up here. So for example, growing up, a private tennis lesson would be $40 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Here, take a swing. Just take a guess.
I'm gonna say
I'm not making this by
I'm gonna say $100 an hour.
175.
Holy!
And dude, people do it twice a day, every day.
And there you go, folks. If you want to get some money, open a tennis court.
Yeah, seriously.
Jesus,
I have a couple
Christ.
friends that I grew up like playing tennis, and we never made it to the tour or anything, but they're like good college players, and a lot of them do private coaching, just like people around the country, and they'll have private tennis courts, and they'll be like, just come teach my wife tennis every day, 7 days a week, and we'll pay you $100,000 a year. That's all you have to do. Well, what kind of money do you guys have?
Jesus.
I got a job out at Montauk, and they offered that money, and I was like, no, stand up. My art form is what's important. That's all I give a fuck about. But yeah, man, it's cool. It allows me to do stand up. You know,
Yeah.
like that's all. Right now, that's all that matters to me. It's like getting just good as fuck at stand up, because I think, you know, if you get really good. Sorry, I'm rambling, but if you get good at this art form, there's so many different outlets that can come about it. You know, rather than doing acting and just really trying. Acting, kudos, but that's a way harder path than with stand-up. You're writing, you're acting, you're doing it live. You know, it's not like social media where you can do it 80 takes. You know, you have to do it in front of real people on the spot, crush it. And if you get good enough, doors will open like crazy. And so that's my mindset. Hopefully I can do stand-up forever. If shit comes about it from, like, I get a writing job or something else, kudos. Like, that's great, but that's the path.
That's good, man. Well, listen, you're very good. I mean, the whole point of getting people on this podcast is, and
Thanks.
the name going after it is people that actually are going after it, and you certainly are. You're pushing it, and
Thanks, man.
you're hosting mics. You host a couple of mics 2 days a week, and you've also got your own podcast going now. How's that going?
It's good, dude. It's fun. It's wild. It's very unhinged. I think that's just another facet that's going to help with stand up. You know, like, you know, doing this, man, you can get bits from it. Like, literally just doing the podcast, like, I got 3 bits out of that. And I'm like, I don't have to think about something to write now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to sit there and be like, oh, what's funny? You know, we're like shooting the shit and be like, oh, that is a funny topic. Let me just, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
It gets you better just thinking on the spot and not, just being free flowing and more natural, I think.
Just comfy. Dude.
Yeah.
This is weird. Like, this isn't normal life, just to talk into a microphone. And and you have to figure out a way to be like normal while having this in front of you and being like presenting. I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm still like right now presenting, but it's like before I'd be like, well, Cam, it's been very nice to be on, like, it's been a pleasure. So it's just that comfortability thing. And I think, dude, I think doing this is just huge. The reps.
No, I think you're great, man. And
Thanks, brother. You too.
Thank you. What's some of your inspirations? You like who's some of the comics that you sort of really, you know,
Look up to?
Yeah, who are inspiring you and who are
Yeah, man. So in college, when I first like learned about stand, I didn't know what stand up was, dude. I knew improv, and I knew guys did stand up, but I didn't know, like, I didn't think that was a possibility. You know, I didn't think people did open mics. I was like, oh, these famous guys from movies just got on stage and are just funny people. I had no clue there was structure. That's why I started doing crowd work at my open mics. I would just go up and be like, what do you do for work? And the guy would be like, I'm a doctor. I'm like, that's fucking gay. And it's just, I thought that's how it was. And then I was like, oh, there's like an art form to it. There's like a craft. And my ADD just like took hold of that and was like, there's writing, there's acting, there's so many different things that I was like, this is going to consume me. So yeah. Wait, what did you ask? Sorry. Oh, what my favorite people are.
Yeah.
So I learned, my roommate in college was like, you need to watch this guy. He liked comedy, and he was like, you need to watch this guy. And we watched Tom Segura's Mostly Stories special. I've never like held myself laughing that hard, dude. It's so funny, and I got obsessed.
Ryan, you'd be a Tom Segura guy. You almost look like
You look like Tom Segura.
I get Tom Segura all the time.
yeah.
I get Tom Segura constantly.
You're happier than Tom, though.
That's what I've been told.
You're way happier than Tom.
I did a show once with Carla Okerson, who's Big J Okerson's ex-wife, and I brought that up to her, and she just stared at me for a second and went, "Yeah, you look like Tom," and then I just went, "You know him? That's like recognition."
Wow.
That's so cool, man. That's such a cool, that's awesome.
But yeah, no, I love Tom Segura. I actually saw him do stand-up in Stony Brook last year.
Oh, nice.
Out of college. And when he went on stage, he went, I bet you guys are wondering, I don't do a lot of college shows. It's because I didn't know this was a college when I signed up.
That's awesome. No, he's great, man. So I saw him and I went and watched him live and I was like, I'm sold. And then started watching more and then I got really into Chris D'Elia.
Oh, he's so good.
He's so good, man. And and then I started watching.
Has he released a special?
So he got canceled.
Okay.
So he got canceled he was texting underage girls and stuff. And
That'll do it.
I can't support him out loud. I really like him. He's hilarious.
Why would a guy that is that famous would
Fuck it up?
have that much? I would assume he's got a good kitty of money behind him now. Like, can you just not get someone at 18? Can you just like, do you have to get the 17-year-olds and the 16-year-olds? Like 18-year-olds are still pretty fucking hot, man. Like,
Just wait 1 year.
yeah.
Just wait it out.
It's not a big difference.
No, he
And to think that you're not going to get caught once you have status or a social media, like once
everyone's
you're famous.
gonna find out.
Exactly.
He came out and said that like after every show he would get hit up by 50 to 100 women, just DM him.
Jesus.
And he would just bring them over and just fuck them. He didn't do drugs, doesn't do alcohol, just drinks coffee and fucks women. And he was like, it's like my vice. And he admitted to it and and it wasn't great. But
were there any repercussions?
got canceled from everything, dude. He was probably never going to get a Netflix again. He'll probably never get it. He all self-funds everything. He had to basically start from scratch. No clubs wanted him. Wow. And he lost his spots at the Laugh Factory and everything. But he's still got such a presence that he can go to a fucking theater and sell out.
I bet he can.
But he's one of those, this is why I like him. And I don't respect the art, not the artist, but people talk about him and they're like, he's one of those people. There's only a few that can go into any room in the entire country and just murder, just annihilate every single time he does it. Never bomb. And they were like, he's just good at stand-up. So I studied him a bunch. And then like every fucking white dude, Shane Gillis came out and I watched Shane a trillion times, and then Shane was like my idol's Louis C.K. And then I watched Louis, and then those two really, like Louis and Shane, just that they're the best. I think they're the best stand-ups ever.
Yeah,
I think that they revolutionized stand-up. If you watch all stand-up, it's all performative. Like, dude, even the GOATs, like Eddie Murphy, Carlin, Pryor, it's all like an act. And these guys are the first ones to be like, yo, I'm going to be present in the room with you guys. Let's all talk about this thing and laugh at it. And they're. You hear these guys talk about, they're like, the one guy, Shane's like Gillian Keeves, the guy who produces, the director. He told a guy that I know, he said that Shane and Louis C.K. are the two greatest stand-ups of all time, which I agree with. And the guy was like, oh, this is when Shane moved to New York, and he was like, that's bullshit. And then everyone went and watched him, and dude, within a year, he got SNL. Like, boom, 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 boom. And so I've just been studying them like a motherfucker.
And how do you do that? So what's your process? Do you watch put a special on and then have your notepad out and then sort of break down do you rewrite out their jokes? Like, what's your process?
So dude, I went full psycho. I had fucking strings connected to stuff. I got my notepad and I watched Shane's Beautiful Dog. I watched Live at Austin, and I watched every single time that people laughed. I try to repeat his cadence. Like, I would watch a joke and then try to repeat his cadence and see the timing. I'm really fast when I talk. And I watched him and he goes, look at this book. There is a book. Like, it's that slow and it's just so captivating. And I was like, all right, that's something. Bum, 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 bum. And then, dude, something I noticed recently was he has a bit in Beautiful Dogs where he talks about Al-Qaeda and how he relates to Al-Qaeda. And then he talks about sex in the next bit. And in between the two, he has a joke where he combines the two with a callback to the last thing while talking about sex. And it's him doing that. It's just like a perfect weaved flow. And it's just art, dude. And he does it, and he's so smart, and he does it in such a way that makes him seem like the butt of the joke, and that he's just like this oafy, dumb guy. But he's like probably the smartest dude in the fucking room. It's crazy, man. And what I'm also noticing about those two is that the confidence that they have with their writing, they can just rely on that, and then they can basically just say whatever the fuck they want afterwards. They know that the original meat of the joke is so good that when they go up, they can just trust it and then just tag whatever comes to their mind and then just workshop it. And And that's what dude, there's a lot I could.
No, you're good.
It's pretty crazy stuff. Like I don't know.
They're insane. I love Louis. Louis is amazing. I saw him at the Cellar recently. He did a drop in and he's phenomenal. He's just so good.
He's so good at it, man. And I noticed another thing too. They talk about very edgy stuff, but the way that they set it up is such an art. Like he was talking about Huckleberry Finn. Have you ever heard of that book? It was like Huckleberry Finn and then Tom Sawyer. And Huckleberry Finn has the N-word in it. And so he was like basically talking about how those jokes are fucked up, but he just can't talk about that. So he sets it up as like, I was telling my daughters this bedtime story and I like to read to them. I was like, do I say Huckleberry Finn or Tom Sawyer? And then he does the thing about how he reads Tom Sawyer, but then Huckleberry Finn shows up. He's like, oh, fuck. And then he says the N-word. So it's like the way they set it up is such like, it's so good. It's crazy.
These guys, I mean, do you ever think it to some degree that they're naturally talented, or do you think that these guys just fucking worked? Like it's so hard to look at these guys and go, were you once open micers? You know, like were you? I mean, of course they were. They must have. They must have gone through the process of just eating shit for years until they figured it out.
Yeah, dude. A guy that I know that knows Shane well was saying that like when he first moved to New York, even when he left Philly, he's still one of Philly's funniest, but he wasn't what he is now. And then when he first moved to New York, he was good, but he wasn't passed anywhere yet. And then however many years later, he put out his special, and they're like, "That's a different guy." Like and it's just, dude. And then Shane talks about how he does mics every single day, 5 times a night. Every single night. And you're going to get good at whatever you do if you do that. But he's also doing real crowds. You know, I see guys do open mics 5 times a night and they're not correcting their jokes. And you also don't get a real read on shit.
Yeah, that's the issue with mics, yeah. That's the problem I'm seeing now is like, it's really hard to get a good read on where you're at on an open mic. And also, like when it's just in front of comics, you know, like it's just not as good a feedback, obviously, as an audience. No. That's the toughest thing because we're all just in this constant battle of trying to get in front of live audiences, but it's hard.
It's so hard with the influx. There's so many funny people here.
Yeah.
There's so many,
and everyone's so different. There's so many different styles. So it's like, you can't even really compare yourself to anyone because everyone is so fucking different.
It's so different. And they're so good. And they're like, well, why is that person getting shows? I want to do what they did. But that guy, like, and it's constant. Dude, like when I first moved here, I did the stuff that used to work in Charleston. And it was 5 minutes that worked well. Like it was, now that I look at it, it was pretty dog shit. But it was good. And I did it at a show here. And dude, I ate shit. And I was like, I thought I was good. And then you look back and you're like, oh, I was bad. Like and I think the biggest thing is just like along the way, each step you're going to like right now, I'm like, this is the best I've been. And same with you. You're like, this is the best I've been. But then you just keep doing it for 3 more years. And then you look back and you're like, man, that was bad. But at the time you're like, dude, I'm doing well. Let's just keep. And I think it's just having that mindset of knowing that you're funny. Like you have it. Like you have it, just exploit it.
Yeah. That's a hard thing too, especially like a lot of comics are very self-deprecating. I know I am in particular. So it's a hard thing to constantly stay in that mindset. Like I'm funny, I'm good. Like this is good. It's like, that's a tough thing. It's a tough thing to overcome your own negative voice.
Yeah, because you'll eat away at yourself. Yeah, because you'll bomb at an open mic. You're like, I just spent 5 hours writing that bit. What the fuck? And then you go up there and you do like an Asian accent. And it just doesn't. It just bombs south, like, you know. And I don't know. It's that. It's just that. But thank God, Riley's my co-partner on my podcast, and dude, he's been the greatest help in just being like going to these open mics. It's like armor, building your armor, getting calloused, and you know, like you just got to keep doing it so that. Like I'll watch guys at the Cellar and they'll bomb a joke, but you can't tell they'll bomb a joke because they're so good at knowing when it didn't work and just going to the next thing without being phased. Just, you can't even tell on their face. And you know that it was a punch, but to everyone else, they're like, oh, it's just
part of the act.
It's just part of the act. Yeah. And I think that's what these open mics are for, is just being able to do a silly act out of beating off and then looking at everyone in the face and just doing that 100 times till it's funny.
Yeah. I've noticed in the last month in particular, I don't seem to be phased when I just when there's crickets in the background. Like if I just say something, I'm just like, it doesn't even matter anymore. It's you can certainly feel over time the difference in how you react and how your emotions fluctuate in when you're doing something, and it is cool. And I mean, you only get that from time.
Yeah. I've ate shit at open mics a million times, and I'd like to think I'm finally calloused. And now I'm at a point where I'm doing shows and it's going well. But like, for example, I did that festival and I went up and I started with my first joke I did a joke that I was in the middle first, thinking I was going to be like relatable, and I bombed, and I could feel myself get like red and flushed, and I got nervous, and I was like, why am I nervous? And then I realized I was like, oh, I'm in front of 150 people just bombing. And nothing is like that as much as bombing in front of comics. Because it comes to a point where you just bomb so much in front of your friends that you're like, all right, I don't give a fuck, like whatever. But then you do it in front of paying 150 people. You're like, I am so sorry. I am so sorry for what I just did to everyone. You know?
Write the suicide note. Dear Mom, I love you.
But I think it takes doing that at shows it's just like the progression of it all.
Yeah.
That's what I'm noticing. But
yeah, and that's cool. So what's one of the hardest things you've ever had to go through in your life? This is going to be a pretty hard question. It doesn't have to be comedy related. What was something that was like really transformative for you that you really grew? And it can be comedy as well.
Yeah, dude, SEAL stuff was pretty fucking hard.
I can't even imagine.
That stuff was really difficult. Like the mentality of just waking up being like, I want to be a Navy SEAL, which is just a crazy thing to say.
I can't even.
Like, dude, imagine me being
can't.
Oh, Al Qaeda, hands up. Like,
I always feel like it would have broken your beautiful little soul that you have going on, this cheery human being that you are, you know? Like, I can't imagine you in 5 years' time, like coming back from the SEALs, trying to do comedy, be like, oh, yeah, America.
My dad always said, he was like, I can't imagine you shooting somebody. And then one of my friends would always say that he's like, you know, Michael would shoot that guy in the head and be like, look at him.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know. It wasn't for me. But I think, you know, the hardest thing was moving here to do stand-up and put that on the line. It ruined relationships. Like I was dating a girl in Charleston, and I was like, I'm going to go do stand up, and she was very supportive, but it wasn't going to work out because of, I'm going to do this. And like, it's just like a risk, dude. It's like you throwing a grenade blind. You're just like hoping it works, you know? And,
totally.
And you can relate. Like, you're just hoping for the best. And I think that's the hardest, because I had a job lined up for a medical device sales job with Stryker. And I could have done that, made $200,000 a year, worked my ass off, but then I would have been set. I'd have been good. But I was like, nah, dude, I'm going to be a clown in a basement forever. Like, I want to do that. And I think that has been the hardest.
It's making that decision, isn't it? It's like, rightly or wrongly, that's what you're doing. And at first, it just sounds so crazy because it's not like you have a bunch of successes and wins and money coming in that you can base that decision of like, this is a good decision. You know, I've got a track record. It's proven. There's evidence. Like, I'm doing this. You're just basically going off a hunch and like a little bit of knowledge that you've gained from being in the industry for a small amount of time. So that's pretty bold. And to move to a city on your own, like New York. I mean, this is...
Yeah, I had a couple friends, but it was like, I'm thank God I had one of my friends from back home that was like, let's go to New York. And he believed in me. He was like, yeah, I'll go with you, man. Like, let's do it. Like, I'm going to get a job up there. He's like, I know you want to do stand-up. He goes, if it goes south, like if you need to do road work and you can't pay rent, I got you. Like, God bless him, you know? And so like, it's stuff like that was like motivating. Just hearing from other people being like, this is possible. My parents, dude, they're the best. Like the fact, dude, my mom is a strict Asian woman. And she was like, son, you're going to do it. I pray for you every day. Like fucking like
Can you do the rest of the podcast in that voice?
I can do that. Yeah, of course. Yes. Yes, I can.
How was the rice tonight?
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. No, dude. It was like, and thank God, because my dad, he did well for himself. He's a pharmacist, and my mom's a nurse, and they wanted me to go to school, and like, but they know it's something. So, and I always tell them, I'm like, something will come out of it. If you work hard at anything enough, it'll get somewhere. But then it's, that's the way I think. Whenever I'm in bed and I just smoked, I'm playing FIFA or whatever, and then I'm like, I could go to a mic or I could chill here. It's like, well, like, I'm going to regret, if I don't ever make it, I'm going to be 40 years old with 2 kids. I'm going to be teaching tennis still, but I'm going to regret being like, man, I should have done more mics. Man, I should have written until 4 a.m. I shouldn't have stopped at like 1, the little things, and it'll fucking add up. So I just, that's my mindset on it. But yeah.
So when you're working on a bit,
Right.
do you just stay on that bit and just keep fleshing out? Or will you have like sort of 10 bits on the go and you'll sort of jump around from bit to bit? You just
so no.
talk through your writing process.
Yeah, both. So, for example, I'll do the most recent one because, dude, it's going to be on my next special. But so, for example, I did a one where Riley and I were talking, and I'm obsessed. I was number 2 in the country in FIFA, by the way.
Oh, wow.
For a week. It was
there we go, guys. Check him out. He's very famous. We're getting big boys on this podcast.
Yeah, dude, famous in FIFA. My girlfriend wanted to break up with me. She was like, you're a loser. And I was like, but I'm number 2 in the world. Or 2 in the country.
She leaves you for number 1.
Yeah. It was some fat guy from Idaho. And I was like, yeah. But yeah, man. So I wait, what was I talking about? What were we talking about?
Writing.
Oh yeah, duh. We were talking and I was like, dude, Italian people sound like, and like playing FIFA, I learned that they were like, they had the fucking act, they sound like Mario. And I would have never learned that unless I played video games. And then I would score a goal on them and they would be like, what the fuck? And so I took that I was like, that's funny. Him and Jonathan laughed. Okay, let's go into it and like write about it. So I was like, what is that? You got video games and you got accents in different cultures. What am I? What can I make fun of about myself so I can make fun of something else? So then I go, okay, I'm Asian. What video games are Asian? Then I did Street Fighter and Grand Theft Auto. Because driving in Grand Theft Auto, you're an Asian person because you crash into shit. Whatever. It's really racist. But I can say it. It's fine. I'm still fleshing out how to set that up because I know that's funny, but it's like working it. Then I went from that and I was like, okay, why would my mom not want me to play video games? Because like Asians did what? They invented it, but let's put an angle to where my mom doesn't want me to play it. So then I can get mad at her for it and be like, don't you want me to explore my culture? And then I can do it. And then I try to find a comparison of being like, what's a culture that wouldn't let a culture that invented something and they don't let their kid do it. And I was like, well, think of an inventor. Thomas Edison invented the light bulb. That's like Thomas Edison getting mad at his kid for turning on the lights. And then from there, that's a punch. Then I go in and try to do as much dialogue as I can and being like, what the fuck do you think you're doing? And just like add those act outs and just like tag it up of being like, you think we're Ben Franklin? You think we can afford that? And just like try to do as much as I can. Then I go to the open mics and see what works and what doesn't, and then just trim the fuck out of it. Just mind dump on the idea of cultures and then have multiple different angles of it, and then flesh it out and see what's the funniest, and then put it together. And then once that's good, build it out again, and then just like till it's like this little diamond, And that's the process.
Well, I can see, man. I mean, your jokes are great.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, really.
Thank you.
You got good presence. You're funny. You do the good little act outs. You really fucking.
That's the thing too. Is like trying to find what's funny and like doing like right now. For example, like right now, I'll tell you, it's like I'm working on act outs. I'm trying to be comfortable in doing act outs and timing on act outs. We get it on time.
No, we're perfect.
And then like timing the act outs and like doing it and being confident and like also not. Confidence on act outs is the biggest thing because you watch a person do stand up and they can say something very funny and then they go into like a voice or something. And if they're not 100% confident on it, it bombs. And so you watch a special and just watch their facial reactions. They'll be like talking what, and then they'll just, and doing that is I think a muscle and I'm just working that. And then also working in purposeful, making it look organic on purpose. So like purposefully fucking up. Like I did one the other day where I was like, my mom didn't let me, I like play video games a lot. My mom doesn't like me playing video games, my Asian mom. And just like even that little thing, then I can be like, my mom is Asian. I don't have multiple moms. And like, I can just joke off of that little word and just add another punch that kind of makes it seem like I fucked up, but it's organic and then go from there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what's right, you know, but I'm just trying to copy the guys that are the best, and they do that. They'll say a setup halfway, and they'll just say the important word, and then restate that setup again, but just more specific. And people are just locked in. They're like, "What's going to be next?"
Yeah.
And I think just finding that process is the hardest thing.
No, well, you're bloody killing it, man.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm doing open mics just like you guys. It's the same shit.
Yeah, well, we're all trying to get there, one lonely road at a time.
Yeah, dude. Like even I've been doing it fucking 3.5, almost 4 years. Like you've been doing it since January? No,
June.
June,
And
June, July, August, September, October, November. Dude, you've done it 6 months. Like the fact that you are where you are means like you're on path.
Thanks, brother.
Way more than dude. I tell you the time that I got kicked off stage in Charleston. I quit comedy.
No.
This is
Tell us.
This is a fun story. So I was I was doing a show and I wasn't good, but I was like decent at crowd work. So this guy came in and he looked like Thomas Jefferson, dude. He had like the fucking ponytail and everything. So I had to acknowledge it. Everyone saw him. I was like, "What's up, TJ? How you been? How's everything?" And I was like, "People have said you look like Thomas Jefferson, right?" And he was like, "Yeah, I get that a lot." And I was like, "Well, you fucking these slaves recently?" And the crowd laughed hard, but the host hated it. And she was like, "You're off. You're done."
What?
Yeah.
What's
dude.
it to do with her?
Yeah. I was like, 1, I made the crowd laugh. 2, I'm historically accurate. Like, I'm not wrong. He did fuck slaves. So that was a deterrent. And like the fact that you've kept a strong will just pushing through the very beginning process is huge, dude. Because I've seen so many people do it. I saw this one guy, man. He's been doing it and he was doing it in North Carolina, came to New York, was doing great at these mics, and then got on Kill Tony, dude. And he didn't do well on Kill Tony. Haven't seen him since, man.
Wow.
And I just it's cutthroat. It's like, you know, and you just have to.
That's a hard form to you've got 1 minute or 1 minute and 30 seconds.
He did well in the show, but then he got be like, "Would you like to be on the secret show?" or whatever the Red Band puts on. And he did that show with like the actual pros. And I think he followed up someone that was very good.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, he's only done it like a year and a half and it didn't go well. And then he just quit. I haven't seen him since. And he doesn't post. He used to post every single day and then it's just no mas. It sucks, man. But that's the difference, you know? That's why those guys are pro, because they're the best because they don't stop.
And they just keep going.
You just keep fucking doing it.
That's like, yeah.
It's like anything.
It really is like anything. You got to keep going. I mean, I've just had a bit of a wake up call. Like this is completely unrelated to comedy, but I invested a fair bit of money years ago in a particular crypto, and it ended up just when I bought it, I bought like a couple $100,000 worth, and it just
you had hundreds of thousands of dollars.
I did once upon a time.
That's amazing.
And it tanked, and it absolutely tanked. And for like the last, for 4 years, I just didn't touch it. But over the last year, I had to sort of touch it because I went traveling and then I was moving here and I haven't been working. And I basically, this one crypto in particular that I really had invested most of it in, I just stopped believing in it because for 4 years, it just did nothing. And I basically pulled everything out and pulled it into other cryptos. Now, this one has just gone gangbusters. And if I hadn't have touched that, I'd have over $1 million in my account right now, as of like yesterday. So,
dude, I'm surprised you're here with us.
It's fucking. Oh, dude,
I would have killed myself.
I've had some dark nights the last few nights. I haven't been in the best mood, but it was, as much as it sucks, money comes, money goes, and I'm glad I've got Mel. She's like, she's all good about it.
That's awesome. Yeah.
But it's like it for me, that was a reminder of, well, no, if you fucking believe in something, you've just got to see it out. You just don't know how long it's going to take, but it will go. And I once did believe in this thing and I stopped believing in it. And look what happened. I think that is a reminder. And I'm taking that in as a reminder for life and how to treat my life now. Like, if I believe in this, fucking keep going and just keep going and it will come.
Yeah. Just trust the way I think about it is I trust myself. Like, I trust myself more than anyone else. No one else is going to help me as much as I can help myself. And if I put the work in, something will come. There is talent there, I think. But talent this is the thing. So like I treat it like tennis. When I grew up playing tennis, I was one of the better kids in Virginia. When I was like 13, 14, I was number one in the state for doubles. And me and my doubles partner, we were top 20 in the country. We were doing so well. And we got to the semifinals of Clay Court Nationals, and like we were on the road to going like very good D1 schools. And dude, we hit 14, like started hitting puberty, all these girls and then I was like, I got burnt out. I didn't enjoy it. Like, and I relied on my talent rather than hard work. And when I was 11, 12, 13, 14, I was playing every day. And then I stopped. And like, I was like, oh, I'm still going to get into a good school. Like all these, like Duke was looking at me at 14. And
Were you distracted by women?
no, dude, I got zero pussy.
Really?
Yeah, man, I had a
Cute
bowl.
little fella like yourself?
Nah, dude, I had a bowl cut, bro.
Was that from your mum?
Yeah, that's an Asian thing. That's an Asian thing. No, but I hit puberty late. Like it wasn't tennis. It was I like learned how to come. Like and then I was just gone from there, dude. I couldn't focus. I would nut, and then I'd be like, all right, I can play tennis again. But no, it was
His hand was occupied.
Yeah.
But
That is a distracting time though, once you realize that you can make yourself come.
yeah, everything's
It's like nothing else matters after that.
no, I couldn't care less. Dude,
Who gives a shit about tennis?
I remember the first time I was like disappointed in myself for coming. I was in a hot. One of my friends got sick, and I was in a hospital bathroom, and I was like, I got to beat off. And my friend was very sick, and I was just jacking off in the bathroom. And I came in the toilet, and I was like, what am I doing?
You had to come to Jesus.
Come to I think Bella Danger. I came to her. But no, yeah, man. And so that's yeah.
Did you guys have sexual education in school?
I went to a very small private school, so no.
Yeah.
I didn't. I learned about coming through my friends. Not that sounded weird.
Was it at tennis camp?
No.
Did your friend teach you to jerk off at tennis camp?
No, we were.
From what I've heard, that happens a lot.
Yes, dude. I never.
They have tennis camps?
Yeah, but we didn't go. I never went to like overnight camp. I didn't ever learn like.
So this is the part of the podcast where Michael now comes out.
No, yeah.
And that's how he did it.
I got jerked off by a bunch of dudes. No, I remember. Wait, what was your question? I remember the first thing I ever Googled. I talked about this in our podcast.
Sex education.
Oh, sex education.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't learn about it. My friends, like, I was in a tent one time, and one of my friends beat off, and one of my friends was like, "Don't." There was like 8 of us in a tent, and like everyone was talking about jacking off. I was like, "What is this jacking off thing?" And they were like, "Don't worry about it." And then I learned, like, I just like learned through just my friends, and they were like, "Just rub it out, like just rub your wiener." So then they were like, "Just look up something," and so I looked up Selena Gomez boobs. That was the first thing I ever Googled, and so I remember it was because Selena Gomez and I think she's maybe a little older, but I was like 14, and so she was like 16. And so it's just a photo of her in like her Wizards of Waverly Place, like just her, and then just like photoshopped boobs on her, and I got off to that.
I remember, like, because in my house we had one computer, so you just couldn't do anything on that. And Dad was like, he had that thing fucking locked down. He had like programs called. Do you guys know Net Nanny? Mm-mm. He had this thing called Net Nanny where you couldn't do shit on this thing. It was like Fort Knox, man. But then like I remember like you remember when you could just watch a movie and there'd be like just one quick boob scene. You just like pause it. You're like, ah!
Yeah, I got it. Yes.
I had HBO as a kid, so.
Oh, so you were watching softcore?
Yeah, HBO had softcore porn, and then they had a reality show about a brothel in Vegas.
Nice.
Called Cat House. And I think that was a sexual awakening for a lot of like 14, 15-year-old boys.
Coyote Ugly, if you've ever heard of that. That was one of the
That's over there. It's over. We're right by Coyote Ugly.
Oh,
actually.
really?
The bar Coyote Ugly is like right down the road.
I would like to go there. I'm pretty sure I had a wank over that movie. Those girls were hot, man.
But fuck, I forgot what we were talking about. But yeah, it was
yeah, sexual education. So yeah, I didn't. No, so we didn't really either. I remember my mum actually gave me some books. Like she gave me like 3 books like about sexual education.
Really?
Yeah. And that was sort of how I learned. But
she didn't talk to you about it?
No. My family they're pretty conservative.
Same.
So they like she would. I think she's like, "Did you have any questions?" I'm nah.
No, I'm good.
I'm gonna ask my mates.
Yeah. My dad, I remember after college, I didn't lose my virginity till college. I was a late bloomer.
Wow.
I got head in high school. Don't come. I didn't. Yeah, and it was my girlfriend. And so my dad was like, he got serious with me when I came back from, like, it was like Christmas break. He was like, "So is Amy? Is she a virgin?" And I was like, "She was." He was like, "She was," and I was like, "Yeah." Oh fuck! Like I didn't even. Yeah. But
Yeah, that's late. There's actually quite a few guys that lost their virginity. I mean, I guess what is late is we got a whole lifetime.
I don't know, man. But then you meet people that are like, "Yo, I got head when I was 11." You're like, "What the
Yeah,
fuck?"
that's
are you talking
crazy.
about? How the hell?
Yeah, I've had friends that are like, I've lost my virginity at 5 years old, and I'm like, well, that's like,
No.
that's
No, dude,
illegal.
that's super. You have friends? These people are you're still in communication with them?
I'm still good friends with this guy. I could call him right now.
Who did he fuck at 5 years old?
His babysitter.
No, dude, put that lady in prison.
Jesus.
I've said this to him.
Okay,
what does he
that
say?
would have been my fucking dream as a kid, by the way. I would never dob her in.
I still remember I had a babysitter when I was like 9, and I started like I knew
You were crushing on her, weren't you?
so much.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Can we watch a movie in bed?" And I was like, yes, please. And I got in and we were wrestling, dude, and I copped a feel. But I didn't on purpose, but I was like, I like
you
women.
did.
Yeah. That's 5 years old's nuts. That's
I was lucky because I had 3 sisters, so there was always.
so it's easy to get sex.
I don't think I hooked up with any of my sister's friends, not until I was well out of school. But there was always women around. So
Did you go to college in Australia?
I didn't go to college. No.
Oh, you're just
I
a
was
working man.
straight into. I got an electrical apprenticeship.
Oh, that's
at
right.
17.
That's so cool.
Straight in. It was good. I would have liked college though. Like college looks fucking fun. I
would
have gone crazy in college, man. I was such a party boy back then. Like all through my 20s, I was party every single week. And college would have destroyed me. It was probably a good thing that I just was in the workforce and I had to show up to something every day.
For sure. Have structure.
And structure and not sitting down. The learning environment like a classroom is not that fun for me. I find it it doesn't agree with my ADD brain.
Yeah, no. The college, I don't know. I just didn't give a fuck. It didn't matter to me. I was there to play tennis and
did you finish?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've got a piece of paper at the end of it.
Yeah.
And
I owe,
debt?
dude, I owe so much student loans.
I bet you do.
I owe so much money and I'm drowning. If I didn't owe the student loans, I'd be fine with my job, dude, but it's just like you're just trying to breathe.
How much do they try and get you to pay each week? Is it a
so
portion of your pay?
It's a monthly thing. No, so it's out of my dad's thing. So they think that I'm making what my dad's making. It's a fucked system, man. The whole thing is fucked. Yeah.
It's hard, man. It's hard to start your working life and be slogged with a big amount of debt. And most people I meet in America, bar a few, aren't even working in the industry that they even studied.
No, you don't. I mean, it's all connections.
A majority don't.
Yeah.
All my friends are like, they were communications or sales majors and they're all working in just random ass shit. And it's just because of connections, man.
Ryan, you're probably one of the few guys I know that is working in the industry. You know, you do a lot of producing, a lot of filming.
Did you go to school for?
Yeah, I went to school for film video production. So I went to school to do this, which is what I do. At Five Towns College, which isn't in the Five Towns. It's in Dix Hills in Long Island.
Oh, okay.
Dix Hills?
Dix Hills, yeah. It's a hill of dicks. It's a hill of dicks. But yeah,
Went to a gay school.
On a gay hill?
It's a gay
Okay, Ryan, this is your time to now come out.
So on the hill, there were dicks.
That's funny.
But yeah, so out of my graduating class, I would say, like, out of my film school, there was maybe 5% of the kids I graduated with doing film are doing like production stuff.
What did you want to do with that?
So like I wanted to be working in like full productions.
Yeah.
But I was told, like, I interned for a company when I was a senior, and they pretty much told me, the person I was interning with is like, listen, you could do that, but the chances are you're going to be doing anything else with a camera.
Right.
And then I kind of fell into making social media videos and doing the social media marketing video aspect. And that just worked out for me.
That's cool though. That's the same shit. It's the same. It's adjacent.
And the whole goal now is to kind of pull the comedy into the video and to kind of have it all work in tandem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What made you What made you decide to start stand up?
So I started at home. I had a big night out in town. I was drunk. I was probably on cocaine, and I got home one night, and I think there was like a course popped up on my Instagram feed, and I was like, oh, that sounds like a fucking good idea.
Yeah.
And then the next day, I had the email notification. I was like, fuck, I don't even remember signing up to this thing, but I ended up doing it. I just did the course and then did a show at the end of it, and that was it. And then I only did I did it for like a year and a half at home, just really sporadic open mics, like once a month or something. And then just put it to bed because I went traveling for a few years and stuff and didn't really revisit it until coming back here. But that's how I did it. I always knew that first night that I did that show, I said to Mel, because Mel was there, I said to her in the taxi home, I was like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I knew straight away.
That's awesome. That's cool.
I love performing. I really do. I love being.
There's nothing like it.
Yeah, I really, really love it. It's completely me. But it's a tough journey.
Yeah.
I was talking to my brother last night, my triplet brother Guy. Shout out to Guy. And
Shit out, Guy.
He does listen to all these, so he'll
Hey,
hear this.
what's up, dude?
I can't wait till he can get here and I can actually get him on this podcast.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
He's a cool cunt. I was talking to him last night, and he was like, he's like, I'm a little worried about you. Like, I don't want you to, come back home at 45 and haven't made it, and I was like, dude, like, hopefully that doesn't happen. Like, I'm not looking at it like that. Like, it's just one way for me now, and however long it takes, I'm going to dedicate it to. But I still feel within myself, even if nothing came out of this, I'd rather have tried and failed than not tried at all.
Right.
I really, really do love it. I do find the mics a little hard though. The mics that we do, I'm enjoying the process, and it's been great, and it's been very formative for me. But the mics just in front of the comics are like not as fun as they used to be. I just want to.
Why do you think that is?
Because I just want to get in front of live audiences. That's where it's just so fun. It's just a completely different thing.
I think, I understand.
I understand how necessary it is, and like obviously I'm still doing them, and I'm going to keep doing them until I don't have to do them.
No, they suck.
But they suck ass. They're kind of draining.
They are. You fill a room full of fucking weirdos, man. We're all weird ADHD incels that are just in a room, and you're like, yo, this is my dick didn't work the other day. Yeah. And you just do that over. Yeah. People describing it as boot camp is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
Like when you want to be in the military, you want to be the dude jumping out of airplanes, fucking shooting bad guys in the forehead and like swimming around in boats and being like night vision and shit. But to do that, you have to swim in mud and you have to sit in the cold for fucking 3 weeks, You have to do the bullshit. And that's the only thing that keeps me fucking going is just keep pushing, just keep going.
Yeah.
Dude, honestly, I'm kind of glad that I did the SEAL shit because I got obsessed, man. I like watched every YouTube video, every book. I read about the guy that killed Bin Laden. I read Lone Survivor. Like I read about all those different guys, and every single one of them talks about SEAL training. And they're like, we create the best military, like the best special forces in the world because of this. And they basically put them through a thing where it's like every single guy that made it through Hell Week, which is like 5 days of nonstop working out, holding boats above your head, but you sleep 3 hours in 5 days.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. And every single guy is like, they get to a point in your head where you're hallucinating and you're just like, I'm going to keep just doing everything because eventually it'll stop.
Yeah, there's light at the end of the
This will end. And they have a good saying. It's called, how do you eat an elephant? You eat it one bite at a time. So each time you eat it, it might look daunting at first, but if you just keep fucking eating and kind of just like black out and just keep doing it, eventually you'll
eat that fucking elephant.
Yeah.
Until you get to the ivory.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
then you sell that shit to your mother.
Yes, and you sell it to my mom. And you get a bunch of money for it.
Very good.
Very good, Michael. But yeah, man, it's I love it. It's a drug. It's a drug. It's a drug. I'm obsessed. I can't. There's nothing else like it. I try to talk to my girlfriend about it, and I'm like, oh my god, you're just trying to win over the audience, and like and I sound like a fucking loser. Like I sound like a nerd, but I'm like, there's nothing more important than winning the audience over. And she's like, what are you talking about? It sounds so dumb. Like economy of word.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking about that, and she's like, what?
Yeah.
What do you mean? And I'm like, yeah.
I always find if you equate it to like Broadway or to theater, people kind of understand it a little more. because I think people always understand what goes into like a theatrical production or Broadway. Because like you'll go see a Broadway show and you'll see them hit every single mark, get every song, or if to play every single line, and you don't think about they had to rehearse for 6 months.
Yeah, every day.
Instead of an open mic where they have to go to a place, they had to go. It was in private. And hoping that when I do this in front of 1,000 people every single night, 5 nights a week, I hit this every single time. So I kind of try to.
That's a really good way to put it.
Theater,
yeah, that's a really good way to put it because you don't know how it's going to respond, dude. That's why a lot of these shows fucking don't work. But you got, you hope that what you're doing is the right thing, and you can get kind of small little feedbacks. But until it actually, I've done jokes, man, where I was like, I would kill in front of an open mic, but then you go do it on a show and everyone's like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? And so you don't know, and vice versa. I'll have a joke that I know is funny and it'll never work at open mics, and then you do it on a show, it does well. So you just, I take it less about the structure and stuff. It's just more about just getting like, just eating shit.
Yeah. Eating shit. That's what life's all about. Eating shit and
I love eating shit.
Take the wins when you get them.
That's the biggest thing. Just take every time that you do well at something, like even if you get to do an open, like I did Black Cat the other day. That's the first time I've done Black Cat and it's gone well.
Yeah.
Like it went.
Same.
It went well.
Yeah, that was a fun time.
And that's a win. I told my roommate, I was like, finally, dude, I finally did it.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, maybe the structure stuff is working and like maybe, and so it's like those little wins are what keeps, I couldn't imagine starting here. The confidence you have, like I was so glad in Charleston, I already had the confidence of being like, I know what I have. Let me just like keep pushing forward rather than starting here and getting like you having to like just build confidence off of nothing. And you doing the shows was smart because you're like, all right, these are real shows. There is something happening. Like I have something.
Yeah.
Let me just get it to the next spot, like the next point.
Yeah. That's all we can hope for, hey? I mean, I've only got 3 shows this month. The last month I had like 15 shows or something. It was incredible.
Through the
I got a bunch from Broadway.
Nice.
And then I just got a heap of other ones, just random ones.
That's awesome. That's great, man.
But next year, that's the plan. Let's do fucking shows. Let's get on them.
Yeah, that's the goal. And I told you earlier, like if you can compartmentalize everything, just like if I can break it down and be like, okay, I need to get 1 joke a week and have it a killer joke, and you just build it on top of each other, pyramid it, something will come about at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Just slowly but surely.
Yeah. That's it. Well, tell us your Instagram and tell us your podcast. Give us a quick
hi guys,
so people can find you.
Hello. I'm my Instagram is Michael Fleming, so my full name with an O at the end. So Michael Flamingo. Yeah. And the podcast is called Don't Light Me. It's on Spotify, Apple Music, or Apple Podcast. It's on YouTube. We just started it with Riley Flanagan. And yeah, man, thank you for this is so fun, man.
Mate, it's been a pleasure.
It was a blast, dude. Thanks, brother.
Absolutely.
Thanks, brother.
Ryan,
Thanks, dude.
Thanks very much.
Bye, guys.
All right, guys.
Assalamu alaikum.
See you in the next one. Hey, guys. Thanks for listening to this episode of Going After It with Cam Bird. Produced by Ryan Rizzuti and music by the very talented Brian Rigby. If you've enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe, and remember to hit that notification bell. Take care, everyone, and if you can, get after it.